Hi, this is Dave with FrontEndAudio.com. I'm here to talk to you today about the Mackie 1402-VLZ3 mixing console. It's a compact mixing board with 14 channels. It's designed with mic input and line inputs. Basically, it's a great mixing board for use in a large number of situations, from all kinds of live sound applications to recording applications as well. This board can perform very, very well for you, and is designed to last quite a while. It's built very well, built very rugged, and has some upgraded circuitry that is included. Starting at the top, I'll run down a few of the features. I'll let you know that we have a few cables connected here to some of the inputs just for the purpose of demonstration. Right now we have a condenser microphone plugged into channel 1 on the XLR input. Basically, the mixing board has 6 mic pre-inputs on the first 6 channels, followed by other input channels for stereo 1/4 inch inputs. And starting at the top here on channel 1, we've got the mic inserted to the XLR input. There's a 1/4 inch line input jack. Below that there's a 75 Hertz roll-off switch, the input gain control. You have 2 auxiliary sends, auxiliary 1 and 2. Auxiliary 1 is switchable, either post-fader or pre-fader, and auxiliary 2 is fixed at post-fader send. Then you have a really nice redesigned EQ here. It's a fixed point EQ where the low frequency is at 80 Hertz, mid frequency at 2.5 kilohertz, and high frequency is fixed at 12 kilohertz. Below that you have a pan control, which they call a constant volume pan control. So what that means is when you pan from left to right and across the center, the volume actually maintains a consistency so that you don't hear a rise as it gets up to the center detent. It actually dips a bit so that it maintains a consistent volume level. And below that you have the mute switch, solo switch for activating a PFL, and then you have the channel fader. And going across to channel 4 here, we have a line input connected. This could be connected to an instrument such as an acoustic guitar or bass guitar, or another line level device that could come into any one of these first 6 channels like that. And moving over to the line input channels, there are 4 stereo line input channels. We have a 1/4 inch stereo connection here to a device, and you could use this for output from a drum machine or a keyboard, the analog outputs. And each of the 4 stereo channels also have a input sensitivity switch down below for +4 or -10. So you can set that accordingly, whether it's a pro device or a consumer device. Then moving over here to the unbalanced inputs and outputs, we've got a pair of RCA connections here to what you could plug in as a CD player or cassette deck, for example. And these are connected to the inputs, and next to those are outputs for you could record to a CD recorder or a cassette deck or any other device from there. Number of other connections up here, a variety of different output connections on this mixer. There are actually 3 that run simultaneously. You have master outputs, which we'll show you in just a minute on the back, but up here you have balanced or unbalanced 1/4 inch outputs from the main out, and you've also, like I mentioned earlier, you have the RCA connections here for the purpose of recording. You have a headphone jack up in this corner, which is very well designed. It's very high headroom and low distortion headphone amp, so you'll get good sound out of that. And that about covers the inputs. We're going to move over to the master section here to some of the controls I'll show you. And here we've got faders for the master outputs. There are left and right master fader outputs. You've got a control room or submix fader control here. A number of different other controls for routing signals in different ways, and also to control the PFL mode, whether you want pre-fader or post fader listen on the solo control. You have what Mackie refers to as the rude solo light here, blinking away like mad, so you won't miss that. Up above, we've got stereo return master controls, and also on this side here, the master output control for auxiliary 1. And one of the features I wanted to point out is a pretty unique design that Mackie has come up with, so that when you engage any one of, or any combination of mute switches on any of the channels, what it does is it will actually mute the signal from going to the main output, but it will instead reroute it to output jacks that are on the back side of the mixer and what are referred to as alternate auxiliary outputs 3 and 4. And you also have the ability to feed that signal back into the main mix by using the submix fader control here. And you can do something like, if you were muting backup vocal tracks or channels on the board, those channels that you muted could be sent back into the main mix and controlled here with one fader. They would also be routed through, as I mentioned earlier, the output for auxiliary 3 and 4 from the back, so they could be routed to another location or another set of speakers, different monitors, a number of different ways you could use those. Taking a look at the back side of the mixer now, I'll show you some of the other connections. You've got the power cord connection here. Below that is a switch for proper voltage depending on where you're located. The mixing board is set up with a power supply that will operate worldwide. So pretty much anywhere in the world you can switch the power selection here over to adapt properly to your location. Next to the power cord is power switch, and phantom power switch next to that. You power that on for your phantom power that's needed for condenser microphones like we've got here today. Below that are the two left-right main outputs, the balanced XLR outputs. To the other side is the control room outputs, which are parallel outputs to the main but controlled with a separate fader. To the side of that you've got the alternate auxiliary outputs for auxiliary 3 and 4 that I'd mentioned earlier. To the far end are the 6 inserts for each of the mic input channels. And right here we've got a cable connected that's set up to go to a device like a compressor or outboard equalizer to have an effect on one individual channel. I'd like to mention Mackie's reputation for quality of construction and durability, and that's what's gone into the VLZ3 series mixing boards. This one in particular is very well constructed, very well made, very durable, and a few of the things that I like in particular about this board and reasons why I like to use it, the design of the preamps in particular they're calling the XDM2 preamp in this console. Has an extended frequency range and is capable of handling wide dynamic range as well. It does a great job of picking up quiet sounds as well as picking up very loud sounds. So if you're working with a rock band that's pounding it out, and you can trust this board not to peak out or distort. Or if you're working in a coffee house situation with a folk artist, this mixing board will perform equally well, and designed so that you're able to use this board for both creating a live mix as well as outputting to a recording device at the same time. Makes it real simple and easy to do that, and lots of flexibility in the routing, and you have so many different options here that possibilities are almost endless with what you can do with this particular board. If you have any questions about the Mackie 1402-VLZ3 mixing board or any of our other pro audio products, please check us out on the web at www.frontendaudio.com.